The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
I think the Vancouver Canucks, they need to hire Wayne Gretzky as a therapist. What? Well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the damn truth, okay?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks Raider currently with a Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. We're part of that Locked On Podcast Network. They're doing the most for sports fans across the world. And for our show, if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Make sure you go subscribe and like this video on YouTube and on the podcast side. Oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review because we're not here without you. And we're also not here without the sponsors. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. This isn't the way the Canucks drew up the start of their season. And even though, we're a couple hours away from them getting a chance to beat the Florida Panthers, even if they get the win, I don't think this team pictured losing 3 of 4 or 4 of the 4 first games here. So what are some ways to fix the Vancouver Canucks right now? Kyle and I got a couple unorthodox ideas for you in terms of what the Canucks can do to improve this squad in terms of the power play, the lineup, and some saviors coming to the dressing room for your Vancouver Canucks. All that and more coming up. Before we get to our unorthodox ideas, let me introduce my unorthodox co-host, Kyle Bowen. How's it going, brother?
Damn, are we the most unorthodox Canucks show out there in the world? Outside of Donnie and Dolly? What? Probably, man. Yo, some people call us the next Donnie and Dolly. I said, yo, I'm like, nah, don't do that. That's too much to live up to, okay? I already failed my mom and dad, and I gotta fail that proclamation, you know what I'm saying? Where am I going with this? Oh, yeah, Wayne Gretzky, man. Wayne Gretzky, we gotta talk about him on Locked On Canucks today because, I've been doing a lot of thinking here at the Don't Doze Art Lab, and they need to bring him in, okay? They need to bring him in. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about a lot of other unorthodox ways to fix the Canucks. I know Trevor has like a list of 18 different things because this guy's such a big nerd and doesn't do his job and sometimes isn't the second best dad in the world. But man, oh man, one of the unorthodox ways to do so is to bring Wayne Gretzky in and have him talk to Elias Pettersson, okay? Do you know, it wasn't that long ago where Pettersson was the guy, and he was the guy for like 350 plus games outside of the ones that he struggled in. And then he was also the guy that got Wayne Gretzky saying this, okay? And this is way back in the day, April of 2019, but just think about this, okay? Gretzky said, that young man in Vancouver has really impressed me. Okay? He also said, we always compare athletes with each other. And if there's anyone who reminds me of myself, it's Elias Pettersson. Bro, you think I'm lying? He said the most important thing is his work ethic. If he loses the puck, he immediately tries to win it back. Many young players make an extra turn and take some time to do so, but not Elias. He's right there, and he's fighting to get the puck back again. We saw some of that fight against Tampa Bay, right? Some of the little things that, aren't really sexy to the fans who want more from him. But again, Gretzky compared Pettersson to himself. And I think the Canucks need to bring Gretzky in for a little bit of consulting, a.k.a. to be Pettersson's best friend. Because at the end of the day, for Pettersson to get out of this slump, DeBrusk is not going to help him out. It's not going to be a Daniel Sprong thing. It's not going to be like, put the lotto line. Dude, the only person to get Pettersson out of this slump is Pettersson or Gretzky. And Pettersson, all he has to do is remind himself of who he is and not try to be anyone else. Look within, look at the mirror, and also look at that quote from Wayne Gretzky.
That's an unbelievable quote, man. I'm glad you brought that up. And what have we talked about throughout the offseason, right? Pettersson probably needs to spend more time with the Sedin twins, guys who handled a lot of hate, a lot of adversity in Vancouver for a long, long time. And what is his issue with Pettersson right now? It's got to be on the mental side, right? This guy just didn't forget to play hockey overnight. But he's battling himself more than anything right now. And, Rick in the comments saying it's still early in the season, but obviously the fear in the fan base is that this guy's had a stretch now of 40 games where he's been bad. And Kyle, you had the fact drop in our group chat, man. This guy has, 3 goals in his last 30 games, and those goals came against Arizona and Buffalo. Here's another one. I think he's gone 35 games without an even strength goal. That is insane. That's an insane stat. So it's a long time where this guy struggled. He's in his own head right now. And you're right. I think he needs a little Gretzky the therapist, a little Sedinary therapy. And one thing he could also use is maybe different line mates. And I know he's been juggling around so far this season, but Kyle, let's talk about it a bit. Are you in favor of potentially bringing the Lotto line back together if Pettersson continues to struggle here?
Man. Yeah, I'm all over the place because sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, Pettersson is not going to dig himself out of this hole by himself. He needs his friends, right? He's just a human being. And when you're low, you need your friends to help him out. And now I'm like, yo, dude, he doesn't need friends. He needs a mirror. And then he needs to just watch his old highlights, which my aunt was doing last night. And she texted me saying, I lost all faith in Pettersson. I don't think he's getting his game back. So, whoa, well, you just watched his highlights. Which highlights were you watching? Were you watching his highlights from the last 29 games, shift by shift? Which highlights were you watching? He's the guy. He's the guy. When he's on, he's the guy. But to answer your question, do you want the Lotto line back? Bro, I don't even know if that's the option right now because Miller's not going right now. He's a shell of himself. Outside of that, again, some of the shenanigans against Calgary, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to work. I really don't. And to be honest, Trevor, in a game like the one tonight, if that's what you're reference, like, oh, should they use a Lotto line tonight at any point? Like, I think Florida has too deep of a team, even without Barkov and Tkachuk to do that. Straight up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? The Canucks center depth takes a massive hit if you're going to do that. Look, the Lotto line last season, they were incredibly efficient, right? They scored a ton of goals in the short time they were together, but they also got dominated territorially. I think their expected goals percentage was like around 33%, which with those 3 guys on the ice should not be around that level. But it's interesting, right? You look at the template right now, and it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? You know, that Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Jake Gensel line in the Canucks game play like 11 minutes together, even strength. The next closest line was like at 7 minutes. So they were out there for a ton of hockey. And again, I don't know if early on this season that works for Tampa. I don't know if that's a long-term recipe for success. But in the short term, it's something that I think could work for the Vancouver Canucks because, especially with Miller not going right now too, maybe it's a time where the homies need each other because they've created that magic before. And I think we all believe that they can create that magic again if the 3 of them are together.
Hopefully they're homies, man. Hopefully they all just are chilling on this road trip, straight up, just being bros. You know, Trevor, I forgot about that, how there was that Eastern road trip where they played all their games like in New York and Pittsburgh where they just dominated. They dominated. It was so much fun to watch.
It was the last time Pettersson was really electric, right? Whoa. In January of last year.
Okay, now I get what you're saying here. You're doing the math. So it hasn't been the same ever since they got split up. Boom, bam. Conspiracy theory. Boom, bam. All in all, man, we just need Pettersson with confidence, man. Again, unorthodox ways to fix the Canucks. Bring Gretzky in. Bring the Lotto line together. Is it unorthodox to also just do the simple thing, and that's bump Garland up the lineup ASAP?
Yeah, I wouldn't call that unorthodox. No, the Lotto line isn't necessarily unorthodox, or that, although at least your center depth is.
I think it is unorthodox.
No, thanks, man. Because again, your center depth, if you load up that top line, is going to be Pius Suter, Teddy Bluger, Niels Amon, especially with Aatu Ratu back in the minors now. So Suter's your second line center with, I don't know, what is it, Jake DeBrusk and Conor Garland maybe. It starts to get a little dicey when you put those 3, the big dogs on the top line together. But again, I think if this lack of success continues for the Vancouver Canucks, and again, they haven't been terrible, they just haven't put together a complete game yet. It is early. But that being said, we do have a coach who has been a bit trigger happy in terms of wanting to shake things up. And I know he hasn't been in love with going to the Lotto line, but I certainly think it's in his back pocket. And I know he's thinking about it right now.
But is he thinking about Conor Garland now, moving up the lineup? Like, I feel like he'd rather do that than put the Lotto line back together. Like, again, my question is it time? Is it time? Like, what are we waiting for? Waiting for Danton Heinen? Like, dude, it's not the case. It's not the case. Like, real talk, bro. Danton Heinen at his best, 17 goals scored, 20 goals scored, maybe. It's cool, but I feel as if instilling Garland into the top 6 allows Garland to play 1 or 2 or 3 more minutes, or at the minimum, keep up this pace that he's at where he's the highest forward being played or highest minutes being played by a forward 5-on-5. Like, keep him going. And man, oh man, whether it be with Miller or Pettersson, I want to see that ASAP.
Yeah, and Conor Garland, again, we've talked about it. Every dayers know this guy's led the team in even strength ice time among forwards for the last 2 games. He led the team against Tampa. He led the team against Philly. At even strength, Conor Garland has been the Canucks' #1 forward, and he deserves it because he's been their best forward. So I would not be shocked. And again, I do think it's time to move Conor Garland up the lineup because he's been the most consistent guy so far. And it comes to a point where, again, like I said, we go back and forth. Like, Petey needs his friends. He's figured it out himself. But certainly you want Pettersson creating offense, and the best creator on this team right now is Conor Garland. So it makes sense to pair those guys together, whether it's tonight in Florida or whether it's later in the road trip. Let's show James Moore in the comments here. Conor Garland has 29 even strength points in the last 49 games. That's more than John Tavares, Rope Hintz, Chris Kreider, Brock Besser, Barkov, and DeBrincat. Look, Conor Garland has been one of the most effective even strength players in the NHL. His going back to the beginning of last season, his even strength points per 60 is at 2.5. That's one of the best marks in the NHL. You're a first liner if you get like 1.9 points per 60, and Conor Garland is, like an elite first line player at even strength. Like, let's be real about it. The numbers say that Conor Garland is an elite first liner.
Dude, elite first liner, maybe, but at the very most, or the very least, I'm sorry, I just think he's in line to have a career year, to have some of that pizzazz. I feel as if he is such an uber competitor, and all the things that happened last year with him individually, but with the team specifically, has allowed this guy to come into the season with a newfound excitement for the game, and his instincts are taking over. And again, he's making Victor Hedman look like a fool. It's cool to see that there is that level of depth here, and just until Joshua comes back, why not move him around the top 6 to let him be a bit of the glue for a guy like Miller, possibly, or Pettersson, man. Straight up. Wayne Gretzky, Yari Curry. Elias Pettersson, Conor Garland. Same-ish, okay? One more unorthodox thing that I want to talk about, but I think we got to save it for after the break, and that's playing Brannstrom with Carson Susi. What? Is that possible? Is the math there? Could that have happened? Maybe. Who knows? We'll talk about it after the break.
We'll talk about it on the other side after we shout out our friends over at FanDuel. All right, you know the deal on FanDuel. If you're an NFL fan, if you're an NHL fan, if you like that Major League Baseball, you can start the season or the playoffs with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Make sure you go do so on FanDuel.com. And oh, baby, the Canucks underdogs tonight against the Florida Panthers. Now, the underdog card didn't work last night against Tampa Bay. But if you believe that they could beat a Panthers team who is, again, missing Sasha Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, make sure you go find that on FanDuel, okay? Again, if you want to place those bets, there's one place to do it, and that's FanDuel.com.
One love to FanDuel. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking a lot of BS about your Vancouver Canucks, okay? We're making up things to make things work because we haven't won a game in 8 months. 6 months? 5 months? Forever, okay? We haven't won a game since I turned 31. AKA, we haven't won a game since I've been 31 and a half years old. AKA, I'm balding. Do the math. This has to end tonight, and it has to end in Florida. And a big reason why that's going to happen is because Eric Brannstrom may play. Now, before we dive into this, one left to Forbert. Personal reasons holding him out of the lineup tonight. Rick Dhaliwal saying that it won't be too long, possibly. He might be back with the team in a couple of days. One love, take your time. It's just a game. Again, one love. That all being said, Brannstrom, does he get in the lineup tonight over Noah Juleson? I'm assuming Vinny D gets back in the lineup. I haven't looked at any reports. I'm just basing that off of Juleson's last game. All in all, though, Brannstrom, is he in the lineup? And would you be surprised if they split up Susi and Myers tonight? Think about it.
You know what, they have struggled a bit, right? So I wouldn't be entirely surprised, and I think that's something we haven't really talked about yet. like when Hughes and Hronek are not on the ice, the Canucks defense hasn't been bad. I don't know. I'll say it's been bad, okay? Because, expected goals wise, they're still top 10 in the NHL, but the defense has been leaky and the lack of puck moving ability has been evident. Myers, I think, was especially looking slow against Tampa. I mean, kudos for the guy for even coming back after suffering that knee injury. I know he wants to get to game 1,000 of his career against the Philadelphia Flyers, but yeah, it was a rough performance for Myers. It was a rough performance for Juleson. I'd be surprised if they went the Brannstrom Susi route, as you're alluding to, because you got two left shot guys, arguably the two best puck movers on this defense, aside from Quinn Hughes and Phil Hronek. So my best guess for tonight is that they probably keep Susi and Myers together, and then they'll go Brannstrom and Desharnais on the third pairing.
Brannstrom and Desharnais on the third pairing, dude. I don't know if that's going to happen, bro. I don't know if that's going to happen. And I know we've seen the Brannstrom mixtape. We talked about this 3 days ago, this being the trade of a lifetime for Patrick Allvin, possibly. We're partially joking. And on that episode, I said, there's no way this guy's playing games this year. Trevor's like, shut the hell up. Are you stupid? It's going to happen. It's going to happen this year. Little did I know that he was talking about right away. This to me, again, I know the whole Forbert thing happened, and maybe that threw, I wouldn't say like a wrench into it, but, allowed them to think about these options. But Brannstrom just got into the organization, isn't accumulated with the system. And now they want to go to a guy like that to help them win games, help them get better. And that's not in the cards when they acquired him, and especially before that. And it kind of seems as if it's a little desperate, to be honest, and not according to plan. That being said, maybe Tocchet and Foote are like, yo, let's take our hands off the wheel and let's just let the skill do the work, right? Straight up. Like, I wonder if that has a lot to do with it, because Adam Foote and Rick Tocchet are a big reason why healthy scratch Vinny Desharnais is a Canuck, and that this organization and Allvin didn't spend $2 million on another defenseman that could just move the puck. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're being humbled and taking this one off the chin and saying, you know what, let's just throw this one in there and see if this works, because they need a puck mover. But man, oh man, like him and Vinny D as your third pairing defenseman, bro, that's like 7 turnovers a game.
Yeah, the more you say, and I'm thinking about it more. We saw Susi and Desharnais play together quite a bit in preseason, right? So the more I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe Susi, Desharnais, and Brannstrom and Myers. But my initial thought was that, even though Susi and Myers have kind of struggled through 3 games, they have the trust of the coaching staff, right? And this defense has largely been like a top 2 and a bottom 4, right? It wouldn't surprise me if Brannstrom and Desharnais are the guys in, or even if it's Juleson, right? If you go kind of heavier on the top 4 minutes for guys like Susi Myers, Hughes and Hronek, and then Brannstrom and Desharnais are kind of
breathing, dude. Breathe, man. It's relax, dude. Breathe, man. It's just a hockey podcast, man. Don't get nervous, man.
Oh no, I'm running. I've probably slept 16 hours in the past 5 days, bro. But I'm still here for you, the people, man. I'm here, buddy. Let's go.
No, one love, and again,
can't sleep when the Canucks aren't winning, man. Come on.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I know. I'm the same way, bro. Bro, to be honest, like, I've been having mad dreams about the Canucks, and I had to wake up today and I had to go to the bookstore to buy like a book so I could just like calm down and not just be so hockey addicted right now. And what book did I buy? I bought a book about winning general managers in the game of hockey and how they built their teams. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing, man? And now we got Erik Brannstrom being called up. And bro, I want to be proven wrong. I've seen the highlights. And again, this guy's been in NHL in recent history. Like, he's played over 140 games, it seems like, over the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And who's to say that he can't be better than Vinny Desharnais and Forbert and Juleson? Like, they're on the same level as far as being NHL defensemen, but they're so different. And it's just really fascinating to me that he's looked on as a possible solution to one of the biggest problems with this team. And it's still early, like very, very early. And I know we all talked about like how Foote changed Zadorov and Foote changed Foote, and it took time, right? It took months for both those things to happen. And that was going to be the case here, where Foote was going to change Forbert and Desharnais and turn them into good defensemen by the time it was all said and done. And we're going into April. But a part of me is also like, dude, I think I want to say given up on Vinny D. That's too strong of a statement, but I think they were allowed in the past to be more patient because they were winning games. And that's that sounds like a crazy thing because Tyler Myers was struggling when the Canucks were like 2-1-1. Like it wasn't like they were crazy winning games, but I feel as if there's like a sense of not again. What's the word? Panic. There's no panic in there, but things kind of have to turn around ASAP. You don't want to be around the 8 ball so much early on in the season, especially for a team that winning is literally not a part of the culture in that dressing room. They were good for 22 seconds.
Yeah, 22 seconds is it's not a long time. And as I'm looking at the standings today, Kyle, there are only 4 winless teams in the NHL heading into tonight, all in the Western Conference. It's the Nashville Predators, the Colorado Avalanche, the San Jose Sharks, and your Vancouver Canucks. So that's why we're talking about unorthodox ways to fix your Vancouver Canucks, because they got to get some dubs and get the ball rolling at some point here.
Okay, but there was that tweet by Blake Price, okay? Blake Price a lot smarter than Trevor Beggs and Kyle Bowen, okay? He said that if the Canucks win tonight, they would have the same amount of points as they had last year after the 4-game mark. And that's the truth.
Of course. We're talking about small margins, man. Yeah, exactly.
So it's all good at Applewood. You know what I'm saying? It's all good at Applewood. Bam, bam. Could you imagine, though, if okay, can we just be positive right now, though? Like super positive before we get to break? What if? And I brought this up a couple days ago when Trevor Beggs was like, yo, Brannstrom's being called up this year. It's going to happen. Trevor Beggs is a smart guy, right? Welcome to Locked On Canucks. I said RC Baines is going to play with JT Miller. Boom, bam. Before Baines was even called up, it happened. This guy said Brannstrom is going to be a Vancouver Canuck ASAP. It happened. Welcome to Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button right now. But what if, what if Eric Brannstrom got the humbling that he needed? Straight up. What if we see a brand new Brannstrom today where he's not trying to force the issue every single time, where he's controlling his pacing, where he's not trying to be Quinn Hughes because he's not Quinn Hughes, Like, how we talked about Pettersson having to remind himself like who he is? Yo, Brannstrom, you've been in the league for a long time now. You're not this guy that you were in junior that could just dominate. You got to change your ways. You got to be a different guy. And maybe Adam fucking get to him during one practice or one pregame skate and bring in the fact that you just got waived. Nobody picked you up. You were a late signing in the offseason after being a top 15 pick after being a big part of the Mark Stone deal. Like, you're falling down the rankings. And again, you just got waived. You got to change. And what if he does get that humbling overnight? Because we've all been there in life and he actually pans out.
There's a chance, man. Look, this guy's a good puck mover and his defensive metrics are good. I think overall he's a great defender. He's got a bit of a turnover issue.
Big time turnover issue.
Yeah, and that's the main knock on him, right? But there's a lot to like about Eric Brannstrom's game, and I'm excited to see what he can do for your Vancouver Canucks. Let's get a little bit crazier with the unorthodox ideas. I got one more I want to chuck out on the other side. But before we do that, we got to shout out our friends over at Gametime and PrizePicks. You know the deal, baby. If you're buying tickets, there's no other place you should go than Gametime, okay? They got that lowest price guarantee. That means you're not going to find tickets cheaper for anywhere else, especially not for the scalpers, man. Come on. And Gametime, they're stepping it up even further. They got this new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And if you're looking for hockey tickets, they got them, baby. And if you don't like hockey or a significant other doesn't like hockey, go get tickets for concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Let's go. On Gametime, that app, come on. They got the seat views. They got the lowest price guarantee. And they got the all-in pricing, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. So what are you waiting for? Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Go download that Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime.
Bada bing, bada boom.
All right. Go to the daily fantasy sports world, baby. And if you're betting on daily fantasy sports, you got to use PrizePicks, okay? They got over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, okay? They are not messing around. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash or on your game all season long on PrizePicks, all right? You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks, all right? And PrizePicks, they put their members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When the picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. You know what you could accomplish in 15 minutes? I could go to town twice, baby. Come on. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotion that can lead to big payouts as well. All right. So make sure you go download the PrizePick apps today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Okay, go download that app and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game, baby.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, over here at the Don't Doze Art Lab, over here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Hey, speaking of which, after the game tonight, I probably will have to do the post-game show again on the Locked On Canucks feed, and that's because the last time I tried doing it on my own feed, Kurt Richardson, the executive producer of that show now, because he was in there in the lobby helping me out, I was having some mic issues. I can read the comments now, but having a little bit of mic issues with the feed. I want to figure that out. I can't promise you I can do that before 6:30 today because I'm just a Findu. I mean, I'm just Kyle Bowen. That being said, subscribe to the other channel, link in the bio. Read the blog. I swore a lot on the blog last night. I have to do some edits on it, but that's where you can buy some t-shirts as well. But more importantly, join the Discord. The Discord gets me through life, okay? When none of my other Canucks group chats are replying back to me, I can't say the same about that Discord. There's some loyal people who care about the Canucks more than they care about their families. And that's where you want to be. You also want to be behind a TV screen in a couple hours, okay? The Canucks and the Florida Panthers get off, or about to start up a game, okay? Game 4 of the season for the Vancouver Canucks. And look at this, okay? I don't know if this is true or not. James Moore dropping one of the darkest comments of all time. James Moore also, Google him, a guy who would never lie. Again, Google him, okay? He's saying no team has ever gone 0-4 to start a season and win the Stanley Cup. So must-win game tonight, do or die tonight. I believe in that, okay? I really do. Oh, Trevor Beggs just ditched me because he can't handle the heat. He can't handle the fact that this is a do-or-die game. Isn't that something? Is that how we actually feel, though? Again, this team has won games for 22 seconds, okay? They were good last year. This core was just that. It wouldn't be in their best interest to have to face the challenges. And everyone talks about, like, oh, the media is a challenge, and everyone will be talking about how this team is struggling, and it'll get in their heads. No, it's not really a media thing. It's just reality. It's just reality. Okay, it's harder to climb up the ladder when you start off winless in your first 4 games. It's going to be a Saturday night game against the Philadelphia Flyers on Saturday, okay? That's game 5. Winless in 4 games going into game 5. The Philadelphia Flyers beat us up every single time. That's going to be a tough game. The more and more I think about it, tonight is tonight's a must-win, man. Look at Elston Gunn with this comment, okay? Kyle's reaction to James Moore comment. Scary stuff, bruh. Okay, the Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup in what, 50,000 plus years. And now James Moore is saying if they lose tonight, they will not win a Stanley Cup this year. Look at this comment from Matt Folger, okay? Pettersson isn't dominating, and he's not playing badly. I would say outside of the Tampa game, he was pretty invisible against Philadelphia and in Calgary 5-on-5. That being said, he's got to get a bounce back going. Most of the fan base is incapable of processing the ups and downs without making it all about Pettersson. Like we said, Miller has sucked in large spurts over the last 3 games. Like, he's been so bad. There was parts of Quinn Hughes' game against Tampa Bay where he just looked exhausted, tired of the fact that he had to play with like Forbert guys and Juleson and Vinny Darren. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was just a lot going on. He just looked frustrated, was trying to do too much, was trying to be the hero, got burned a couple times. It's not just the Pettersson thing, right? Pettersson's not the reason we haven't won a game in 3 games to start the season, right? This all being said, again, the people are bored. They want to see their guy have the sauce, okay, for this Vancouver Canucks team. They want to see their Vancouver Canucks team with Quinn Hughes, with JT Miller, have Elias Pettersson also do his thing. Like, how does that look like? We kind of forgot. We should be a top-heavy team. We should be extremely fun to watch. But when Pettersson is not going, it's, again, boring. It's frustrating. All that being said, again, look at the film over the last 2 periods of hockey. Pettersson had a motor on him, the second largest motor compared to Conor Garland in the last game. He was bringing it, trying to do a lot, maybe trying to do too much, right? Pettersson's a better player when he's instinctual, but he was trying to get himself going. And I hope he listened to today's episode, because Wayne Gretzky thought he was looking at a mirror when he was watching you play way back when. Okay? Straight up. Look at Matt Folger saying, people are bored. I get it. I have the t-shirt, the Bro Do Your Deeks t-shirt, and I'll wear it for tonight's game. Hey, one love to Jason Botchford. Dude, Botchford and Pettersson were a combination. They really were. That's a duo. That's a beautiful duo. Rest in peace, Botchford. And yeah, Pettersson, man, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah, again, I get it. People pissed off, people mad. People thinking that the media, people thinking that the fans are too hard on Pettersson. Bro, the guy's got like 0 or 1 even strength goals in his last 35 games. He was so bad in the playoffs. This guy has 3 goals in his last 29 games. They were scored against a team that doesn't exist anymore in the Buffalo Sabres. That's real stuff, man. It's real stuff. Look at Jordan, though, okay? It takes a team to lose or win. Yeah, I get it. I know that's the truth. It's a team game after all. But that's why you pay guys like Elias Pettersson. That's why you have guys like this on your team, to take you over that fine line. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. This ain't the San Jose Sharks, man. Real talk. Look at Kurt Richardson, again, executive producer of that other show, link in the bio. Brannstrom is instantly our second best skating defenseman. He was the second best D-man at breaking the puck out over the last 2 years in Ottawa. You know, do yourself a favor, search Locked On Senators and type the word Brannstrom and see if they broke down any of Eric Brannstrom's game or his just in general his time with the Senators. Okay, those two do a great job covering the team. I did message them earlier. Maybe we can get them on before the week ends to talk about Brannstrom. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be something there. And he could also be a Daniel Sprong. That is just the truth. Look at that, though, okay? Look at what we just did. We just went through the comments. We just finished out the show. With just you and you and you and you and me talking about your comments. More of that on the post-game show, whether it be on this feed or the feed below, because, man, oh, man, we all watched the game. We all watched the game, okay? I want to create a place where we all watch the game, and then we go to a place where the show is produced based on your comments and your comments only. I don't want you guys to come here and just listen to me talk about my thoughts on the game when we all watch the game. And that's what Canucks Questions is going to be all about. What is that? Again, link in the bio. And if that stream doesn't get going tonight or on Saturday, I promise you I'll be here on the Locked On Canucks stream, because, man, oh, man, the Locked On Podcast Network, they really do care about their fans. They've taught me a lot over the last couple of years. And it's all about the people, man. It's all about the people, man. I've said it so many times, man. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm not a podcaster. You know what I am? I'm a Vancouver Canucks fan. I'm an Elias Pettersson fan. Smash the like button. See where that takes us. Takes all of us, for real. And let's build something pretty effing cool, okay? For real. One love. Truly do appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll read one more comment because I feel as if we kind of ignored this over the last couple of days. Nucks fan 77, hoping that Sprong isn't a healthy scratch again. We need goal scorers. Again, I don't know if there's been lineup news according to what's going to happen on tonight's game. Maybe Daniel Sprong gets back in. That being said, I do have a feeling that we see all the same players in the forward group play the same or play in the game tonight. Okay, I don't know what the order will be like. Maybe Pettersson still plays with DeBrusk and Heinen for like a period, and we keep all the lines the same. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised also if Garland is in the top 6 to start. I think Baines will get some top line time. I think. And we win tonight, ultimately, okay? For Daniel Sprong, I mean, just watch and learn. Something? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the Canucks can bring Brannstrom and Daniel Sprong into the same game. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. For real. Anyways, go Canucks go. Again, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. It really helps us out a lot. One love to all of you guys. Go Canucks go. Enjoy the game tonight. Remember to, conversate with somebody that you love, okay? You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You never know what's going to happen in the next hour. Take care of your people, take care of your neighbors, and see where that will take you. Again, go Canucks go, and peace out.